What you are about to hear in the next few minutes is not just another news flash from the Middle East. It is the sound of a so-called fortress finally cracking open in front of the whole world. From sirens screaming across Tel Aviv, to emergency cabinet meetings called in the dead of night, to blast reports shaking the foundations of Israel's most guarded zones, the occupation is now officially in emergency mode, and this time, they cannot hide it. We are talking about multiple blast reports, multiple shelter alarms, and multiple high-level officials caught on camera running for cover. Independent field sources are confirming that explosions were heard in at least 3 sensitive areas, including zones close to military command centers. The streets that were once full of confidence are now full of confusion. Soldiers are being pulled from leave. Civilians are being told to stay near shelters at all times. And the man at the top, Benjamin Netanyahu, is reportedly locked in a war room with his closest generals, trying to figure out how the most expensive defense system on earth just failed in front of his own people. But this is not just a security story. This is a story about a myth breaking in slow motion. The myth that Israel cannot be touched. The myth that the Iron Dome is magic. The myth that the region will stay silent forever. Before we go deeper into what really happened, who is behind it, and why the next 48 hours could change the entire balance of power in the Middle East, I need you to do one small thing for me. Hit that subscribe button right now. I am not asking for your money. I am not asking for your time. I am asking for one click that tells the algorithm this kind of honest, no-nonsense reporting deserves to be seen. Smash that like button, drop any emoji in the comments. Even a single fire emoji helps push this video past the filters that try to bury stories like this. Once you have done that, stay locked in, because what comes next is the part the mainstream media will never show you. Let us rewind the clock by just a few hours. It started with a normal evening in occupied territory. Cafes were open, highways were busy, soldiers were posting selfies online like nothing in the world could ever touch them. Then, without warning, the sky lit up. Loud booms echoed across multiple cities at almost the same second. People in Tel Aviv described it as a deep thunder that shook their windows. People in the north said it sounded like the ground itself was angry, and within minutes the official emergency channels lit up like a Christmas tree. Red alerts, shelter warnings, roads blocked, airspace restrictions. This was not a drill, this was the real thing. Eyewitnesses started posting videos before the sensors could move. You could see thick smoke rising in the distance. You could hear ambulances screaming through the streets. You could see soldiers, real soldiers, running with their helmets half on, trying to figure out what just hit them. And here is the part that should make every single person watching pay close attention. The Israeli army, the same army that brags about knowing every move in the region before it happens, was caught completely off guard. Their early warning systems did not give them the time they promised their people. Their interceptors did not perform the way the brochures said they would. And their politicians, the same politicians who go on television every week to threaten everyone around them, suddenly went silent. Now I want you to really think about what that silence means. When a government that loves the camera suddenly hides from the camera, it means something serious is happening behind closed doors. It means the story they want to tell does not match the story on the ground. It means damage control has officially begun. And while Netanyahu was trying to control the damage, the rest of the region was wide awake. Reports started coming in from Lebanon, from Yemen, from Iraq, from Iran. Not threats, not speeches, just quiet, calm statements that basically said one thing. The era of one-sided strikes is over. You hit, you get hit back. That is the new rule. And if you think this is just talk, look at the map. Look at the supply lines. Look at the drone footage that keeps leaking online, no matter how hard the censors try to take it down. The resistance axis, as they call themselves, is no longer a scattered group of fighters with old rifles. They have drones that can fly for hundreds of miles. They have missiles that can pick a specific window in a specific building. They have command rooms that talk to each other in real time across borders. This is not the 1990s. This is not even 2010. This is a completely new game, and Israel is being forced to play it on hard mode. Now let me ask you a serious question before we move on. If the strongest army in the region, backed by the most powerful country on earth, can be pushed into emergency mode in a single night, what does that say about the future of this entire conflict? Hold that thought, because it is about to get even more intense. Here is where the story takes a sharp turn. While the blasts were still being investigated, leaks started coming out of the Israeli cabinet itself. Yes, the cabinet, the same room where every big decision is made. According to multiple sources, there was a heated argument between Netanyahu and his own security chiefs. The generals were reportedly telling him that the country cannot keep fighting on so many fronts at the same time. Gaza in the south, Lebanon in the north, tension with Syria, pressure from Yemen, quiet moves from Iran, and now blast reports inside their own backyard. The math simply does not add up anymore. One general was quoted as saying that the army is stretched thinner than at any point in the last 20 years. Soldiers are exhausted, reservists are angry, families are protesting in the streets, asking when their sons and daughters will come home. And in the middle of all this, Netanyahu is reportedly more focused on his political survival than on the actual safety of his people. Think about that for a moment. The man in charge is fighting to save his chair while the country around him is fighting to save itself. That is not leadership. That is a man trapped in his own trap, and the Americans know it. Behind the scenes, Washington is in full panic mode. Phone lines between the White House and Tel Aviv have been burning hot. American officials are reportedly warning Netanyahu that if he drags the United States into a bigger war right now, it could blow up in everyone's face. Oil prices would explode, global markets would shake, and the average American family, already struggling with bills, would feel the pain at the gas pump within days. But here is the twist. Netanyahu does not seem to care. He is acting like a man who has nothing left to lose. And a leader with nothing left to lose is the most dangerous kind of leader in the world. Now stop for a second. If you are still with me, you are part of a very small group of people who actually want the full picture, not the cleaned up version on cable news. So do me one more favor. If you have not subscribed yet, do it now. It is completely free, and it helps this channel keep bringing you the real story without sugarcoating. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and let us continue. Because what comes next is the part that even some experts are afraid to talk about openly. Let us zoom out and look at the bigger picture. This is not just about one night of blasts. This is about a shift in the entire balance of power in the Middle East. For decades, the rule was simple. Israel acts, others react. Israel strikes, others absorb. Israel sets the timeline, others follow it. But over the last 2 years, that rule has slowly been flipped upside down. The resistance groups across the region have learned how to coordinate. They have learned how to share intelligence. They have learned how to time their actions so that Israel cannot focus on just one front at a time. And the result is exactly what we are seeing tonight. An Israel that is reacting instead of acting. An Israel that is defending instead of attacking. An Israel that is, for the first time in a long time, looking unsure of itself in front of the cameras. And the world is noticing. Watch the body language of foreign leaders this week. Watch how carefully they choose their words. Watch how many of them are suddenly calling for calm, dialogue, and de-escalation. These are the same leaders who just a year ago were giving Israel a blank check to do whatever it wanted. Now they are nervous. Now they are calculating. Now they are realizing that the old script does not work anymore, and the regular people on the ground feel it too. In Tel Aviv, families are talking openly about moving abroad. Real estate agents are reporting a spike in calls from clients who want to sell quickly. Airports are seeing longer lines of people with one-way tickets. This is not propaganda. This is what their own newspapers are admitting in the small print at the bottom of the page. Meanwhile, on the other side, you see something very different. You see crowds gathering, not in fear, but in defiance. You see families who have lost everything still standing in front of cameras, saying they will not leave their land. You see young people who grew up under bombs now organizing, learning, building, and refusing to break. That is the picture the world is starting to see, and no public relations firm in New York or London can erase it anymore. Now let me hit you with something that almost no one is talking about. The economic side of this story. Every time there is a blast report in Israel, the cost is not just human, it is financial. Insurance companies start raising their rates. Foreign investors start pulling money out. Tech companies, which are the backbone of the Israeli economy, start quietly moving their offices to other countries. Over the last few months, billions of dollars have already left. And after a night like tonight, that number is only going to grow. The Israeli economy is built on the image of stability. The moment that image cracks, the money runs, and the money is already running. Now think about what that means for Netanyahu. He is losing on the battlefield. He is losing in the cabinet. He is losing in the streets. He is losing in the markets. And the only card he has left is to escalate, to make the situation so big that the world has no choice but to come and rescue him. That is the most dangerous moment in any conflict, when a cornered leader decides that the only way out is to set the whole house on fire. And that is exactly where we are right now. So what happens next? Let me give you the honest answer. Nobody knows for sure. But here is what the patterns are telling us. In the next 48 to 72 hours, expect more blast reports, expect more emergency meetings, expect more leaks from inside the Israeli government, expect more pressure from Washington, both public and private. And expect the resistance axis to keep doing what it has been doing best lately, which is staying calm, staying coordinated, and staying patient, because patience in this kind of conflict is a weapon more powerful than any missile. The side that loses its temper first loses the war. And right now, it is very clear which side is losing its temper. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. History is being written in real time, and you are watching it happen, not in a textbook, not in a documentary made 20 years from now, right here, right now on your screen. The myths that shaped the Middle East for decades are breaking one by one. The myth of an untouchable Israel, the myth of an all-powerful America, the myth of a silent, broken resistance. All of these are crumbling in front of our eyes. And whether you support one side or the other, one thing is undeniable. The world after this chapter will not look like the world before it. So here's my question for you, and I genuinely want you to answer it in the comments below. Do you believe Israel can recover from this moment and return to the way things were, or do you think the balance of power in the Middle East has changed forever? Drop your honest answer below. One sentence, two sentences, a full paragraph, whatever you feel. Read other people's comments, reply to them, have a real conversation, because this is the kind of moment that future generations will ask us about, and your voice deserves to be part of the record. If this script gave you a clearer picture than anything you saw on mainstream news today, you already know what to do. Like the video, share it with one person who still believes everything they see on television, and subscribe so you never miss the next update. Stay sharp, stay informed, and remember, the smoke is still rising and the real story is just beginning.